What is up, ladies and gentlemen? But most of all, you ladies out there, thanks for clicking on another episode of Break the Silence. I am your host, Cyborg. Cavs, Hawks, let's break the silence. Split cow! Normally, I hop on this podcast and I talk about how it was an insane night of NBA basketball. But I'm going to be honest, tonight was not great. Tonight was not great. The games weren't all that close. But we had a big matchup between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Atlanta Hawks. Two teams vying for playoff position in the Eastern Conference. Two teams that might see each other in the playoffs, who are going to get used to each other throughout the season. Both teams are 10-6. This game was in Cleveland, so an important game for both teams, and the Cleveland Cavaliers did pull it off. Now, speaking of Cleveland, it was another tough weekend for your boy. As many of you know, I am a diehard Cleveland Browns fan, and they're killing me, man. I'm so sick of watching that terrible, sorry joke of a franchise. I don't even know what to say. I almost can't do it anymore. And then tonight, I am pretty much donating money to FanDuel. Like, I continually just keep putting money in FanDuel, and they just keep taking it from me. And I can't figure out what's going on. So, tough couple days for your boy, but we're turning it around. We're going to turn it around. First, please take a second to like and subscribe to the channel. You see, we're getting pretty close to 600 subscribers. That would be huge. So please take a second, hit that little button. That would help your boy out tremendously. But we're going to talk about this game. And this might be the first time that I'm going to be a little critical of an NBA player. I've been hesitant to do so just because I kind of want to be someone who builds up a lot of the great things we're seeing in the NBA. But sometimes you got to be honest. When a guy's playing like trash, you kind of got to talk about him playing like trash. And when you look at the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young is hurting this team quite a bit when it comes to how poorly he's shooting the basketball. And his inefficiencies are just really, really hurting this basketball team. They are now 27th in the NBA in three-point percentage. Now, Trae Young came into the NBA heralded, whatever word you want to use, heralded for his three-point shooting and playmaking ability. He's a very good passer. He's second in the league in assists right now. But he's shooting at 31%, and after tonight, that might even be lower. He was 1 of 8 from 3. He was a team worst, minus 19, 10 of 22 from the field. Now, Trae Young is very flashy, very fun to watch, very good at deep three-pointers. But when you're talking about winning basketball, I hesitate on Trae Young, and part of the reason is he's a small guard. When you look back in NBA history, and I sat here for a while tonight trying to think of all the guards, the small guards that have led their team to NBA championships. Can you win if your best player is a small guard? Now, we have Steph Curry, who's a crazy anomaly, who's by far the greatest three-point shooter we've ever seen. Isaiah Thomas, the old one with the Pistons, but you're also talking about an elite defensive team. And then maybe Chauncey Billups, if you want to throw that in with the Pistons. They won a title with Chauncey Billups. He won Finals MVP, but again, that team was known for their defense a lot. So can you go into an NBA season, can you go into a playoff run with a small guard as your best player? And that's something we haven't seen be successful. And in modern NBA, it mostly has come down to the wings with the exception of Steph Curry. You know, you have Giannis, LeBron, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard. Like these are the guys that typically lead their teams to NBA championships. So that's something that you hesitate on. When you're looking at the way this Atlanta Hawks team is constructed, they're built around two guards. And it sounds like they're probably shopping John Collins. That was the reports. A lot of teams are interested in him. The Utah Jazz, I've heard. The Boston Celtics, I've heard. We'll see if anything comes of that. But this team is built around two guards, and I just don't love it. They're 17th in the league in assists, which is pretty low considering that Trae and Dejounte are both high assist guys. Especially with their teams last year. Both were 9+ assists. Hawks are 6th in the NBA in pace, so they play really fast, and but their offense is so inefficient when you come to the three-point line. They're 16th in offensive rating. They're 13th in defensive rating. That's not really terrible. Dejounte Murray's a good defender, and they have some other good defenders on the court a lot of the time. Now tonight they were missing DeAndre Hunter, and they're 10-6. So we're not completely off the bandwagon saying this team's going to be terrible. But what is the ceiling of this Atlanta Hawks team is the question that I continually am asking myself. Can this Hawks team, can it compete for a championship? Will it compete with the likes of the Milwaukee Bucks, with the likes of the Boston Celtics? Could it beat this Cavs team in a 7-game series? Those are questions you got to ask. We've seen them beat Joel Embiid before when Ben Simmons had the greatest breakdown of all time, but you know, the Sixers are going to be right in that mix. The Nets maybe are starting to figure things out. We'll see what happens there. The Raptors are there's good teams in the Eastern Conference. And where do the Hawks rank amongst those? They just made a big trade for Dejounte Murray, so you want to believe that they're in those top-tier contenders. I just don't know that I'm fully bought in that they are. In order for that to be the case, like I said, Trae Young has got to become more efficient. He's averaging 27 points and 9.5 assists, which seems incredible. But 39% field goal percentage is talking about one of the worst in the NBA when it comes to a guy who shoots this many threes and this many shots. To be that inefficient is a massive problem in my opinion, and I think we'll see that come to fruition when it matters most. Switching over to the Cavs, the team that actually won this game. They are an interesting basketball team to watch because they're so far, they've been up and down in a lot of ways. Right now, they're both top 10 in offensive rating and defensive rating. There's only 2 teams in the league that are, I think it was them and the Phoenix Suns, that are top 10 in both of those categories. The Cavs are also, they're also 26th in the NBA in bench scoring. So they're not getting a lot of production from their bench unit. Now, tonight, that was kind of the difference in the game. They got 23 points from Cedi Osman, Cedi Osman, Cedi Osman, whatever to flip his name is, because it's called different every time I hear it. So, you know, whatever you want to call him, I think that's probably correct. But Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland have both been playing well. They're playing well with each other. Darius Garland tonight had 26 and 9. Donovan Mitchell had 29 and 9. These two chemistry is pretty impressive to me for a team that hasn't played together very long. They seem to play off of each other well. They seem to enjoy playing with each other, find each other in their spots. And tonight, honestly, the Cavs just shot the lights out from the 3-point range. 53% from the from the 3-point range, 20 of 23 from the free throw line. Those are all recipes for success. When you're looking at who wins in the NBA, your indicators: 3-point shooting, turnovers, rebounding. Those things are all really important. The Cavs are a very good rebounding team. They barely won the rebound battle tonight. Now, the Cavs turned it over at a high clip tonight because Garland had 8 turnovers, which is a little high. But this Cavs team, to me, is up and down. There are nights where I think that they're a contender in the Eastern Conference, and then there are nights that they're a little shaky. They have won 3 in a row. The Charlotte Hornets took them to double overtime the other night, which was interesting. But they seem to be really figuring it out, I think, defensively the last couple games. They held the Heat to really low scoring. Now, Jimmy Butler was out, so take that for what it's worth. And then tonight, the Hawks weren't able to score a lot of points. And like we talked about, the Hawks' pace is really high. So they're a team that, you know, is getting up and down the floor. And that was the thing that I was noticing the whole first half of the game. It was like these teams are just sprinting back and forth constantly. The Cavs are playing a couple guys that I really wish that they weren't playing. Isaac Okoro, I'd love for him to not see the floor anymore. Never want to call for a man's job, but I'm calling for his job. He's just no good. Kevin Love had nothing tonight, and Robin Lopez was shaky. Now, they're going to bring back Ricky Rubio, and I think that's something to keep in mind because he was very good for them last year. But these two teams right now are very, very interesting in the Eastern Conference. I'm going to pull up the standings real quick to see where they're standing, where they're at the moment. The Cavs right now are 3. The Hawks actually dropped to 6 with this loss. Cavs are 11-6. Hawks are 10-7. The Pacers and Wizards are actually 4-5. That's pretty incredible. Wouldn't have thought that. But right now, the Cavs and Hawks would play each other if the season ended today. So, two teams that need to get familiar with each other. They'll see a lot of each other. And I think it really matters when you're talking about playoff seedings. Yeah, it's early in the season, but these games matter. They matter at this point in the season because you might go through a stretch where someone's hurt. Trae Young's hurt. So you want to be pulling out these games when you have the chance. That's all I got when it comes to this game. have some concerns about both teams. Both teams have decent upsides. Will they be in those top tier contenders? That's something I'm still watching for. I'm not completely sold on either of them. I think if they ran into Giannis and the Bucks to the Boston Celtics in a playoff series, I think it would be tough. But we'll wait and see. That's what we love about the NBA. That's all I got for you tonight. Cyborg out.